Hello and welcome. In this video, I'll be introducing you to conditionals. Conditionals are code structures which allow you to test if an expression or a condition returns true or not. They are used to perform different actions based on different conditions. The common conditional statements are an if statement. Basically, an if statement is used to specify a block of code that will be executed if a specified condition is true. We also have an else statement, basically that checks if the condition that is set within the if statement is true or false. If that is false, then the code inside the else block will execute. So the else statement will only come into effect if the condition set within the if statement returns false. So in my console, I've got a variable here that I've defined called my number, and I've given it a value of 7, and I'm using an if statement, which is a conditional statement, to test a condition. So I'm checking if the variable called my num is equals to 7. If it is, this code here will be executed, which says console.log basically means it will print out this message inside this console. It will say lucky 7 if the condition is true. But looking at the condition, this condition is definitely true because the variable has a value of 7, and I'm just checking here. This is the condition. The expression inside the if, which is this here, is the test. Okay, so this uses the identity operator, which is this equals to here, to compare the value, to compare if this value here is 7, if it's equals to 7. If it is, it will print out that. So I'm just going to press enter, and it will print out lucky 7 in the console. So in this case, the condition is true, so no other code needs to be executed. However, you can also create a condition in which you add an else statement, so that if the condition inside the if statement is wrong, then a different block of code will execute, which is located inside the else block. So here I've got another variable, same called my number. I've changed the value to 10, and here I've included two statements, the if statement and the else statement. So what happens is the comparison is made, the condition is tested, and the test is inside the if block inside here. So it's testing if this variable my number is equals to 7. This will return false because the value is 10. So what that happens, this block of code here that says lucky 7 will not run. So it will not get executed because the value is wrong. So what happens, it will skip this block and it will execute this code because this condition inside the if is wrong. It doesn't evaluate to 10. So once the comparison has been made, it will run the code that matches the comparison. So in this case, the code inside the comparison is made inside the if block. So it's tested the condition. The condition tested false because the value 7 is not equal to 7. So it's not equals to 10. So this block of code here that says lucky 7 will not run. Instead, it will run this inside the console. Anywhere you see console.log means it's going to print a message inside the console. So if I press enter, you can see it's saying you're not very lucky today because this condition that we tested did not evaluate to true. So this code here is executed instead. So in a very simple example here to illustrate how the conditional statement works. So there are other types of conditional statement, but the very basic is the if and the else statement. So the key thing to note here using the if and else statement is that the condition to be tested, or the expression to be tested, is always located in the if block. So that's where you set the condition. You can see here I've set the condition here. So if that condition does not evaluate to be true, then the block of code inside the if statement is skipped and the one in the else block is executed. So in between the curly braces, that's the opening curly braces and that's the closing curly braces, is where you write the block of code that will execute. You can see here this is the block for the if, and in the else one you got the opening curly braces and the closing curly braces, and in between you've got the code block that executes if the condition within the if statement or the if block is wrong. So that's it. I hope it makes sense. If not, please let me know. Thank you and bye for now.